How to market for subject to real estate deals. If that's your question, you're not alone. Buying real estate subject to the existing mortgage can be a huge shortcut to creating your cash flowing real estate portfolio if you know how to find them. They're sitting right under most real estate investors' noses, and they could pick them up regularly, but they don't know what they're actually looking for because it's not what most people think. Marketing for subject to real estate deals, it's a little bit counterintuitive. So I'm gonna walk you through this. I'm gonna give you all the pieces that you need to be able to pull this off yourself. Like 1, better understanding why someone would sell their house subject to in the first place. 2, where to look for these sellers. 3, how to get them to reach out to you. And 4, what to say when they actually call you. Let's get started. So just to clarify, subject to defined is when you're purchasing a property subject to the existing mortgage. You take ownership, official ownership, your name is gonna appear on title, but the seller's name is gonna remain on the loan. The loan is gonna stay in place. You're gonna make payments on that loan. Morally, you are responsible, but legally, the seller still is. So why would a seller even do this? It doesn't sound like a great deal for them. Well, they're in a situation where they need to move fast, where selling their property through the traditional means by using a real estate agent is just not gonna cut it for them in their situation at the moment. And it's typically because they've got some bigger event going on in life that's much more important. And typically it's some sort of event that needs financial relief, or they need relief themselves, like they need to be let go from this payment. They need to be out from underneath that burden every month. They want to preserve their credit score. So now that you're clear on what it is and what it is that motivates them to even be open to an idea like this, that right there makes it much easier to start looking for them and to actually find them. So your marketing, it's going to begin with looking for signs of distress. It could be property distress, it could be personal distress of the owner, it could be financial distress. So we're looking for what we call the investing Ds. We've got distress, disease, drugs, death, delinquency, the list goes on. And what those are symptoms that something might be less than perfect in that person's life. It's not a guarantee that there's distress there, that there's a motivated seller there. It's just a symptom. And it's a shortcut rather than trying to knock on every single door or call every single owner in their neighborhood. So where do you find these distressed sellers, these motivated sellers? Well, the first place is you could buy marketing lists. There are companies out there that provide lists of people that are behind on their payments or people that just inherited a property. And those can be found rather simply by just going over to Google, our good friend Google, and type in marketing lists, type in motivated seller marketing lists, and you're gonna get a bunch of different results, and then you can choose that way. Now, of course, that's gonna come with a cost or an expense attached to it. There is a way that you can find them for free because all of those lists, those are all originated from the county and the city courthouses. So you can actually go down to your city or county courthouse, look through their records, and you can pull all of these names yourself, totally free. Mortgage brokers, that's another really good source. These are people that are lending money to people to buy their houses, and they know when they are delinquent, they know when they're behind, they know when they're in some sort of financial trouble because they're not making their payments. That could be a great resource to tap into subject to deals. Your title officer or title companies, because when someone misses their payment, that's gonna show up in public records and they will get that report as well. That could be another great resource, and very often that one can be free too. And my personal favorite is an affordable piece of software called PROPSTREAM, where you can have access to a number of these lists. You can get multiple listing service access. You can check out the liens, tax liens, sewer liens, HOA liens, solar liens. Those are all symptoms. When people are delinquent on those payments, they'll come up in the results. You can look for vacant houses. You can look for absentee owners, people just going through divorce. You can find a number of different types of lists, different types of motivated sellers right there with your own software. And as a gift, I'm gonna give you 7 days free access. You can take it for a free test drive and you can pull all the lists that you want. Check down below, I put a link in the description for you. Now that you've got this list, how do you reach them? Well, you want to put together a marketing message that's actually going to resonate with them, because every person has their own little radio frequency playing in their head. WIIFM. What's in it for me? And when you're thinking about the type of distress that they're going through, in your marketing pieces, you want to promote solutions to those problems. Like you buy fast. You do it with no fees, no commissions. You do it as is. They don't have to do repairs. They don't have to deal with a real estate agent. Those types of messages will attract those sellers to call you. Now, once you've crafted that message, you can place it in direct mail on either postcards or handwritten yellow letters. You can put it on social media like Facebook or Instagram. You can promote it through Facebook advertising. You can put it on Craigslist for free. You can put it in the Facebook marketplace. You can put it on YouTube or wherever you can advertise. Anything goes. You just want to get your message out there in front of these people. Sellers open to subject to deals, they're everywhere, and they really do need your help. I mean, they've got something going on in their life that's bigger than going through the traditional means of selling their house to a real estate agent. And if you like the idea of helping people and making money at the same time, let me know by hitting the like button and subscribe to the channel. I post cool money-making stuff like this each and every week, and if you're really serious about making money in real estate, you're not gonna wanna miss a single episode. So when they call, and they will, it's your job to interview them. You want to ask them some specific questions because you don't want to buy every single house that a seller is willing to sell to you. So you want to make sure that it's the right deal for you too. And if you'd like a copy, I have a very specific framework that I give to my private clients. It's a framework of an actual interview. We call it the 9-point seller interview. And if you'd like a free copy, I'm going to be happy to give it to you. You can go to mattsfreedownloads.com. And in case you forget, for your convenience, I put a link below in the description. With that said, remember this, when you're talking to sellers, it's their job to convince you to buy. It is not your job to convince them to sell. You see, it's better to miss out on a good deal than it is to buy a bad one. And I'm always reminded when I say that of one of the very first deals that I purchased subject to. The seller essentially sold me his house for $1. And I thought this was an amazing deal. I couldn't wait to tell everybody about it. And when I took ownership of that property, it turned out the market value after it would have been repaired was about $80,000. But the catcher was, it was going to take about $120,000 to fix it up to put it at that market level. So you don't want to buy a property just because it's cheap, just because the seller is willing to sell it to you. As we kind of covered, a really good resource for finding subject to deals is looking at NODs, notices of default, and pre-foreclosures. If you'd like to learn more about finding motivated sellers that are behind on their payments, I put a link to that video down below in the description for you as well.